2 months after the end of the war, Earth began to change. New cities rose on old land. Soldiers returned home. Some found peace. Some could not forget. The galaxy was watching. Everyone wanted to know what the Deathworlders would do next. Nora Bennett was back at Central Command. She sat in her office looking at reports. New threats were rising. Small groups of Vexari still moved in the dark. Not hives, just survivors. But they were angry. They wanted revenge. Maria Blake entered the room with a file. "We found a signal near the edge of the Quran belt," she said. "It's weak. Could be a ship, maybe Vexari." Nora leaned forward. "Is it moving?" "Not yet. Just drifting." "We sent a probe. It went dark." Nora stood. "We need a team. Quiet, fast, no big ships." Jason Hill was already waiting when Nora reached the hangar. He wore a new uniform but still had the same calm look. "Heard you need someone to check the dark," he said. "Bring Blake and a small squad," Nora told him. "Find out what it is." Jason nodded. "We'll be ghosts." The ship they took was called Silent Wind. It was fast and small. No heavy weapons, just speed and stealth. Maria Blake handled the scanners. She found the signal. It came from a broken moon. One side was cracked open. Light blinked from inside. Jason looked at the screen. "Land us close. We go in quiet." The team wore black armor, no lights, no sound. They walked across the cracked ground of the moon. The air was thin and cold. Inside the broken moon, they found a ship. It was half buried. Strange marks covered it. Not Vexari. Something else. "No signs of life," Blake said. "But power is still active." They entered the ship. The halls were narrow. Lights flickered. Something had happened here. Jason moved to the control room. A body was there, not human, not Vexari. It had long arms and metal skin. "Whoever they were, they died fighting," he said. Maria checked the logs. This ship was watching the Vexari. It followed them for years. Then it was attacked. Logs end 5 days ago. Jason looked around. Something killed them. Maybe it's still here. As they moved deeper into the ship, they found signs of battle. Claw marks, burned walls. A broken drone still blinked red. Then, a sound. A low click. A door opened. A small shape ran out. "Wait," Jason said. It was a child, not human. Its skin was gray. Its eyes were wide with fear. Maria knelt. "We're not here to hurt you." The child pointed to a wall. A screen showed a shape moving, not Vexari. Bigger. It crawled over metal like a shadow. "That's what killed them," Jason said. The team backed out. "We need to warn Earth. This is something new." They brought the child aboard the Silent Wind. As they left the moon, something moved in space behind them. A dark form, long and thin, followed. "It's tracking us," Maria said. "Faster," Jason told the pilot. They jumped to Earth space. The shape did not follow. But the message was clear. Something worse than the Vexari was out there. Back at Central Command, Nora listened. The child was silent but gave them images. A world of black towers, a race long gone, and one thing left behind. A hunter. Nora looked at the screen. "This thing survived the Vexari. It feeds on war," Jason said. "We must find it before it finds others." Maria added, "And we must know what else is out there." The war was over. But peace was not safe. New dangers waited in the dark. The Deathworlders would not rest. They had answered one call. Now another had come. The Deathworlder fleet stayed in orbit for 3 more days. The planet below was still burning. Smoke and ash rose into space. No more enemy signals came from the surface. The last Vexari hive was gone. Fleet Admiral Nora Bennett walked through the halls of the Resolute. She visited the medical bay first. Many soldiers lay in beds, some were asleep. Some stared at the ceiling. Quiet. She stopped at Laura Dean's bed. Laura had burns on her arms and a deep cut across her face, but she was awake and alert. "You did well," Nora said. "We all did," Laura replied. "But not all made it." Nora nodded. "We will honor them." In the command room, Lieutenant Maria Blake showed a report. No new signals. No life signs. Full sweep shows the planet is dead. Jason Hill joined them. His face was marked with dirt and cuts. "We need to send a message to the galaxy," he said. "They must know the war is over." "We will," Nora said. "But first, we must return. People are waiting." On the Liberty Dawn, Captain Alex Grant looked over the damage. Half his ship's systems were broken. Engineers worked day and night. Sparks flew. Pipes leaked. "Can we fly?" he asked. "Just enough to make the jump," the engineer said. "That's all I need," Alex replied. Sean Parker stood at the observation window. He watched the black planet turn slowly. "I don't know how to feel," he said to Laura, who now stood beside him. "Empty," she said. "We fought for so long, now it's quiet. Do you think there will be peace?" Laura shook her head. "Not for all, but maybe for some. That's enough for now." The order came to return. The fleet began to move. One by one, the ships turned and left the system. Stars flashed as they jumped through space. Back on Earth, the news came fast. The war was over. People filled the streets. They waved flags. They lit candles for those who never came back. In a wide hall in Washington, leaders gathered. They stood when Nora entered. She looked tired but strong. "You led them to victory," the president said. "They led themselves," Nora replied. "I only gave the order." Jason Hill and Maria Blake stood behind her. They had been given medals, but they did not smile. "We lost many," Maria said. "But we saved a galaxy," Jason added. A week later, a memorial was built. It was a long wall filled with names. Every soldier, every ship crew, even the workers who kept the ships flying. All were remembered. Children walked past the wall, asking questions. Parents told them stories. Laura Dean visited the wall with Sean. They found names of old friends. They stood in silence for a long time. "We lived," Sean said. "That's our duty now." Laura nodded. To remember, to rebuild. The galaxy slowly returned to life. Ships from other species came out of hiding. They sent thanks. Some brought gifts. Others sent offers of peace. A small alien ship arrived at Earth. Inside were survivors from a world saved by the fleet. They bowed before Nora. "Your people came when we had nothing left," they said. "You changed everything." Nora said, "We only did what was right." Jason Hill received a message from a planet once ruled by the Vexari. They asked for help to rebuild. He went there with a team of engineers. He smiled as children ran around the wreckage. "We fight. We heal. That is the way," he told them. Maria Blake went to a training center. She taught new cadets. She showed them how to lead, how to act with honor. "You must be more than strong," she said. "You must be true." Alex Grant stayed in space. He flew missions to keep peace. He helped small worlds stay safe. He never took off his old captain's coat. "The stars are home," he told his crew. On a quiet night, Laura Dean sat near a campfire. She looked at the sky. It was full of stars. She held a photo of her old team. Most were gone now. Sean joined her. He handed her a cup of hot drink. "Still can't sleep?" he asked. "Not yet," she said. "Too many memories." "They would want us to live," he said. "We are," she replied. Slowly. The war was over, but its mark stayed, in stories, in names, in the hearts of those who survived. The Deathworlders had come when no one else dared. They had brought war, yes, but also hope. Now they would build, they would protect, and they would never forget. The Deathworlder fleet reached the last Vexari system. It was a place of black stars and broken moons. The sky seemed wrong, like it was watching. This was the heart of the enemy. If they won here, the war would end. Fleet Admiral Nora Bennett stood in silence. The screen showed thousands of enemy ships. They circled a dark planet that pulsed like it was alive. "This is it," she said. "We end it now." Lieutenant Maria Blake gave a report. "They have strong defenses, large energy fields. They know we are coming." Jason Hill checked the data. "We break their line from above. Then we land. We destroy the hive core." Nora nodded. "Tell every ship, this is the last fight. No retreat." The human fleet moved in. Ships formed rows. Lights blinked in the dark. Then the Vexari attacked. Enemy ships flew fast. They fired strange weapons. Some exploded into clouds of gas. Others sent beams that cut metal like paper. The Resolute was hit. Sparks flew. Crew members fell. Nora grabbed a rail and stood firm. "Keep firing, we push through." On the Liberty Dawn, Captain Alex Grant shouted orders. "Hold position, shield the dropships." The battle above the planet was hard. Ships on both sides burned. Some crashed into each other, space filled with fire. Below, on the planet's surface, the ground moved. Huge towers rose. The final hive was awake. Laura Dean stood once again. Her wounds were not fully healed, but she refused to stay behind. She walked with pain, but stood tall. "This is where it ends," she told her team. "Let's finish this." Sean Parker helped her gear up. "We follow you no matter what." Dropships flew down through fire and smoke. Some were hit. Some made it. Laura's ship shook hard but landed. The ground was black and hot. It moved like it was alive. Strange lights glowed under the surface. The Marines moved fast. Each step was a fight. The air smelled like ash and poison. Jason Hill and the Black Watch landed near the hive towers. Their goal was clear: reach the core and destroy it. They moved through tunnels filled with traps. Blades fell from walls. Gas sprayed from holes. Some Marines died before seeing the enemy. Inside the main chamber, the last queen waited. She was larger than all before. Her skin was silver. Her voice echoed in the minds of the humans. "You cannot win," she said. "You came too far. Now you will die." Jason did not answer. He fired first. The battle began. Laura's team reached the outside of the hive. Drones poured out like water. The Marines held their ground. Sean threw grenades. Laura used her rifle with calm skill. "Push forward," she shouted. "We end this." The queen fought hard. She sent waves of fire. She screamed with sound that cracked helmets. Still, Jason and his team pushed closer. Maria Blake, on the Resolute, sent energy blasts from orbit. They hit the hive towers. Pieces fell. The sky turned red. Alex Grant gave orders to send more support. "Drop the heavy units, no more holding back." War machines landed. They walked on 4 legs and fired heavy guns. The ground shook. Jason reached the core. It was a ball of dark light. It pulsed like a heart. "Set charges," he said. "This ends here." As his team worked, the queen charged. Jason stood in her path. He threw a blade into her eye. She screamed. He jumped aside as she crashed into a wall. The charges were ready. "Fall back," Jason ordered. They ran. Behind them, the hive began to fall. The queen tried to follow, but her legs were broken. Laura's team pulled back too. The hive was shaking. Cracks opened in the ground. Lava poured out. The fleet saw the blast from space. A light rose from the planet. Then silence. "Direct hit," said Maria. "The core is gone." Cheers rose across the fleet. After months of war, it was done. Nora closed her eyes. "We lost many, but we saved more." Alex Grant looked at the stars. They seemed brighter now. On the surface, Laura and Sean stood among ruins. Smoke rose around them. But no enemy moved. "It's over," Sean said. "Yes," said Laura. "But we must remember this. We fought for others. We answered their call." The fleet prepared to leave. Ships turned toward home. Survivors carried the memory of those they lost. The galaxy would remember the Deathworlders, not as monsters, not as destroyers, but as those who came when no one else would, as the ones who stood, who fought, and who did not run. The war was over, but the name of Earth would never be forgotten. The Deathworlder fleet reached the next target. This system had no name on old maps. It was cold and full of rocks, but the Vexari had made it into a strong base. They had dug deep tunnels and hidden their hives under the ice. They thought no one would find them there. Fleet Admiral Nora Bennett stood in the command room of the Resolute. She stared at the screen. It showed a wide white world below. "They think we won't come here," she said. "They are wrong." Lieutenant Maria Blake nodded. "We can send ground units in first, scan for tunnels, and clear the top." Jason Hill added, "We need to move fast. If they escape deeper underground, we may never find them again." "Then we hit them hard and fast," said Nora. "We send everything we have." Captain Alex Grant received the command. His ship, the Liberty Dawn, was ready. He looked at his crew. New mission. Frozen planet, deep tunnels, enemy hidden. We break their base and destroy their core. Sergeant Laura Dean was still recovering. She sat in the medical bay, her side wrapped in bandages, but she refused to rest. "I can still fight," she told the doctor. "Just give me a weapon." The doctor shook his head. "You need more time." Private Sean Parker visited her before leaving. "You saved us," he said. "I'll keep the team safe now." Laura smiled. "Just aim straight. Don't freeze." Parker joined the other Marines in the drop room. Their breath showed in the cold air. They wore heavy gear and carried heat packs. The planet below was deadly cold. Windstorms moved fast, and the ice cracked without warning. "You land, scan for heat, and move into the tunnels," said the mission officer. "Clear each level. Look for the hive core." The dropships flew low. Ice and snow blew across their windows. The landing was rough. One ship hit a ridge and broke apart. No one survived. Sean Parker's ship landed on solid ground. He stepped out into the snow. The wind cut across his face. His suit kept him warm, but it was hard to move. "This way," said his squad leader. "Scanners show heat below us." They found an old mine entrance. It had been broken open by the Vexari. The team moved in, lights on. The tunnel was wide and dark. Ice hung from the ceiling. Strange sounds echoed around them. Suddenly, a Vexari drone jumped from the wall. It bit a Marine's neck and dragged him into the shadows. "Watch the walls," someone shouted. The team fired into the darkness. The drone fell, but more came. They crawled from cracks and holes, screaming. Sean fired again and again. His hands were shaking. The tunnel shook. The ceiling broke. Ice fell. "Back!" yelled the leader. They ran, barely escaping the collapse. Behind them, the tunnel was blocked. "We need another way," said Sean. Outside, other teams had found more tunnels. Some used heavy drills to break new paths. Jason Hill led one of the Blackwatch teams. They went deeper than anyone else. "The hive core is under the third ridge," said Jason. "We move now." They reached a deep chamber. Inside, hundreds of eggs glowed. In the center, a new queen grew. She was large, still forming. "We hit now," Jason said. "Set charges." His team worked fast. One by one, they placed bombs around the room, but then the queen woke up. Her eyes opened. She screamed. Vexari. Warriors ran in from the tunnels. The fight began. Jason fired his rifle. He took down two. A third jumped on him. He pulled a knife and stabbed it in the neck. "Hold the line. 10 seconds." The charges exploded. The chamber shook. The queen screamed and burned. The whole tunnel system began to fall. "Get out," Jason shouted. Above, the surface cracked. Ships flew down to pull survivors up. Some made it. Some did not. Sean Parker's team found a way out through a narrow hole. They climbed fast as the ice behind them broke apart. A drone followed them. Sean turned and shot it. They reached the top just in time. A rescue ship pulled them aboard. Jason's team reached the exit last. The ship lifted as the ground below turned into a crater. Back on the Resolute, Nora Bennett watched the planet fall apart on the screen. The ice world was burning from below. Smoke rose through the snow. "That was their main nest," said Maria. "Blake, it's gone." "Good," said Nora. "2 more systems remain. We keep moving." In the medical bay, Laura Dean listened to the news. Her eyes were tired, but she smiled. "We're getting close," she said. Alex Grant stood on the bridge of Liberty Dawn. His voice was quiet. "They thought we would stop. They were wrong." The fleet turned toward the next system. The Deathworlders had not come this far to fail. They would keep going. They would not stop until the last Vexari hive was gone. The Deathworlder fleet moved deeper into Lurvani space. The second system they entered was called Saren. It had once been home to 3 peaceful colonies. Now it was quiet. The airless moons and green planets showed signs of attack. Nothing moved except enemy signals. Fleet Admiral Nora Bennett stood in the command room of the Resolute. She looked at the scans. "They are building more hives here," she said. "They want to make this their stronghold." Lieutenant Maria Blake studied the data. "There are at least 6 hive towers. One of them is massive, the biggest we've seen." Jason Hill stood beside her. "We cannot wait. If we delay, they will spread again." Nora nodded. "We strike before they grow stronger." On the surface of Saren Prime, the main planet in the system, the Vexari worked without rest. Their hives grew taller each hour. The sky was dark, full of their ships and drones. The land was broken with rivers of acid and fields of ash. The planet was no longer green. It had turned into a place of fear. Captain Alex Grant on board the Liberty Dawn received his orders. "Take your ship into low orbit," the message said. "Support the ground teams." He gave the command. "Set course for Saren Prime. Get ready to launch our Marines." Sergeant Laura Dean led her team once more. Her armor was scratched and dusty, but she stood tall. Her team followed her without question. They had trained with her, fought with her, and trusted her. Private Sean Parker checked his rifle again. He was quiet but focused. The fear in his eyes had changed. He had seen death. Now he was ready to fight. The dropships launched. Fire lit the sky as they broke through the clouds. Anti-air fire rose from the ground. One dropship was hit. It spun, burning, and crashed far from the others. 4 Marines gone before they landed. Laura's dropship landed in a broken city. The buildings were half destroyed. Vines and black moss covered everything. The air smelled of smoke and rot. The team moved quickly. "We go to the spaceport," Laura said. "We hold that position until the evac teams arrive." As they moved, the ground shook. A large Vexari creature broke through a wall. It had many legs and long claws. It roared and charged. The Marines opened fire. Bullets hit its armor but did not. "Stop it," Parker fired a rocket. The explosion threw the beast back. It screamed and died. "Nice shot," Laura said. They kept moving. Drones flew overhead. Some were shot down. Others dropped acid on nearby ruins. It burned anything it touched. At the spaceport, they found Lurvani civilians hiding in a hangar. One of them, an elder named Vienel, stepped forward. "We thought no. One would come," he said. "We're here now," Laura answered. "Stay low. We'll protect you." Outside, the fight grew worse. Vexari swarms rushed the walls. The Marines held their ground. Parker was hit in the leg. Blood ran down his armor, but he kept firing. "Don't stop," Laura shouted. "We hold this line." Above, the Liberty Dawn fired support rounds. Explosions rocked the area. Flames rose. Vexari bodies flew through the air, but there were too many. "Command, we need backup," Laura said into her radio. "We are outnumbered." Fleet Admiral Bennett heard the call. She looked at the map. If they did not hold the spaceport, they could not evacuate the civilians. She made a quick decision. Send Blackwatch. Jason Hill led the Blackwatch drop. His team landed fast, using stealth gear and smoke bombs. They joined the fight at the spaceport. Their weapons were advanced, their moves sharp. With their help, the tide turned. One by one, the Vexari were pushed back. The spaceport stayed under human control. "Evac shuttles inbound," Maria said from the control room. The civilians were loaded onto the ships. Laura's team covered them until the last one left. Suddenly, a giant Vexari queen burst through the ground. Her body was huge. Her mouth dripped poison. She swung her claws and smashed a wall. Jason fired a grenade. It hit her eye. She screamed and attacked. Laura ran forward. She threw an explosive charge onto the queen's chest. The beast grabbed her. Blood poured from Laura's side, but she pressed the trigger. The explosion threw both of them to the ground. The queen was dead. Laura lay still. Her team rushed to her. Parker knelt beside her. "Sergeant, stay with us." Laura opened her eyes. "We did it," she whispered. Then she passed out. Medical teams picked her up. She was alive, but barely. Back on the Resolute, Nora Bennett looked at the battle report. Many were dead. More were wounded. But they had taken Saren Prime. "We lost good people," she said. "But we saved thousands." Alex Grant sat in silence in his command chair. The stars outside looked cold. "We keep going," he said, "until it's done." The fleet moved again. The war was not over, but humanity was not done fighting. The Deathworlder fleet moved fast through space. Inside every ship, crew members prepared for battle. Soldiers cleaned weapons. Engineers checked engines and power systems. Medics packed supplies. The mood was serious. Everyone knew what was waiting. On the command ship Resolute, Fleet Admiral Nora Bennett stood in the strategy room. Around her, officers looked at star maps and enemy movement reports. The Vexari had spread across 5 systems. They were building hives on many planets. If they were not stopped now, they would grow stronger. Nora spoke clearly. "We are not here to scare them. We are here to stop them. We will hit fast and we will hit hard. No mistakes, no delays." Lieutenant Maria Blake pointed to one of the maps. "We can strike here first," she said. "This is a new hive world. If we destroy it, we slow their growth." Jason Hill, the head of Blackwatch Tactical, agreed. "We drop in small teams first. Take out power stations, open a path for the fleet, then the full force hits." "Good," said Nora. "Make it happen." Back on the Liberty Dawn, Captain Alex Grant spoke to his crew. "You all trained for this. You know the mission. Help the Lurvani. Stop the Vexari. Keep each other alive." Private Sean Parker, the youngest Marine on board, sat with his squad. His hands were shaking. Sergeant Laura Dean noticed. "First time?" she asked. Sean nodded. "Yes, ma'am. Just stay close. Listen to your team. You'll be fine," she said. The fleet reached Lurvani space. The first planet they saw was burning. Vexari ships circled above, dropping eggs and fire. On the surface, cities were gone. Smoke covered the sky. The humans did not wait. "Launch all fighters," ordered Nora. Hundreds of small ships flew out. They raced toward the enemy. Explosions lit the dark sky. The first wave of battle had begun. Maria Blake stayed in the control room, guiding teams through the fight. "Target hive towers, knock them down, don't waste shots." The Vexari fought back. Their ships were fast and sharp. They fired plasma beams and acid rounds. A human scout ship was hit and exploded. 5 lives lost in seconds. Captain Alex Grant stayed calm. "Hold the line, keep moving, push through." Meanwhile, Sergeant Dean's team landed on the planet. The ground was cracked and black. The air was thick with ash. Dean led her squad through the ruins of a Lurvani city. They found a small group of survivors hiding in a shelter. "We're here to help," Dean said. A young Lurvani child reached out to her. Dean picked him up. "Let's get them out." The Marines formed a circle around the survivors and moved fast. Vexari drones dropped from the sky. The Marines fired without panic. Every shot counted. Private Sean Parker saw his first Vexari up close. It was tall, with sharp legs and glowing eyes. He froze. The creature jumped at him. Just before it reached him, Laura Dean fired. The Vexari dropped. "Keep moving, Parker," she said. The team reached the extraction zone. A shuttle picked them up and flew back to the ship. The survivors were safe. In orbit, the fight continued. The human fleet was pushing forward. More Vexari ships arrived. Nora. Bennett saw the numbers. They are calling in more forces. We must finish fast, she said. Maria gave a new order. Drop heavy bombs on the largest hives. We end this now. The order was followed. From space, human bombers released heavy explosives. They hit the hive towers directly. The ground shook. The towers fell. The Vexari tried to run, but they were too slow. All units, pull back, said Nora. We move to the next system in 6 hours. Back on the Resolute, she sat in her chair, tired, but steady. We did well today, she said to her officers, but this is only the beginning. On Liberty Dawn, Alex looked out at the stars. We answered the call, he said quietly. Now we finish the job. The fleet moved again. The Deathworlders were not stopping. The galaxy had called them. And they were coming to every system where fear had taken root. The war had begun. But the humans did not fear it. They were built for it. On the edge of the Orion Arm, in a quiet part of the galaxy, a small group of alien ships floated near a blue gas giant. These ships belonged to the Lurvani Confederacy, a peaceful race known for art, science, and music. They had never known war. Their worlds were calm and safe. But that calm was broken. A new enemy had arrived in their space. The Vexari, a violent insect-like species, had attacked without warning. The Vexari did not want to talk or trade. They came to destroy. They burned forests, broke cities, and killed without mercy. The Lurvani tried to stop them, but their ships were weak and their soldiers few. Ambassador Tisal stood on the bridge of the Lurvani cruiser Halorian. His large, dark eyes stared at the broken planet below. Once, it had been full of green trees and bright oceans. Now it was smoke and ash. Tisal's hands shook. His people were dying. His heart ached. Send the signal, he said. Even if the stories are true, we have no other choice. The communication officer nodded and opened a secure channel. The signal was old, buried deep in galactic memory. Long ago it had been made in fear, a last call for help. It was not meant for friends or allies. It was meant for the most dangerous, beings known to the stars. Deathworlders. Far across the galaxy, past the edge of known space, the human warship Liberty Dawn was in deep patrol. It was a sleek gray ship with strong engines and powerful guns. Captain Alex Grant stood on the bridge looking over star charts. His crew worked in silence around him. They were trained, sharp, and ready. A red light blinked on the main screen. Sir, we have received a distress signal, said Ensign Rachel Moore. It's coded in pre-Accord Galactic Standard, very old. Alex turned. Location? Lurvani Space. Sector 42. Is it real? I believe so, sir. It's marked as an emergency. Extinction level. Alex stared at the message. It was simple. Help us, or we will die. He leaned back in his chair. For years, Earth had stayed out of galactic wars. Humans had become watchers, not fighters. But the message stirred something in him. Send it to Fleet Command, he said. Mark it urgent. 3 hours later, the full council of Earth's defense fleet gathered in high orbit above the moon. Fleet Admiral Nora Bennett led the meeting. Her face was calm, her eyes cold. She had led many battles, seen many deaths. She had also helped build peace, but this was different. We have confirmation, she said. The Lurvani are under attack by the Vexari. If they fall, others will follow. General Adam Cole nodded. The Vexari are not just raiders, they grow fast. They do not stop. Lieutenant Maria Blake, head of tactical planning, looked at the maps. We can strike their hives directly, take out the breeding nests. Commander Jason Hill added, or we hit their fleets, break their lines, make them run. Nora listened. Then she stood. We will do both. Across Earth, orders were given. Ships were called in from Mars, the Belt, and Saturn's moons. Soldiers packed their gear. Fighters loaded bombs. The Deathworlders were moving. At the training grounds in Nevada, Sergeant Laura Dean checked her team. Young, brave, and ready, they knew what they were walking into. Not every soldier would come home. Laura had seen war. She did not like it, but she would do what had to be done. "You all heard the brief," she said. "This is not a rescue. This is not a mission of peace. This is a fight to stop monsters. We are the wall. We do not break." The fleet gathered near the edge of the system. 200 ships, large and small. The lead ship, Resolute, carried Fleet Admiral Bennett and her main command group. Liberty. Dawn joined the vanguard. Marines, pilots, engineers, and medics filled every hall. From above, the fleet looked like a dark storm ready to fall. As the engines lit up and the ships jumped to faster-than-light speed, the stars seemed to bend. Grigay. Deathworlders had heard the cry for help. Now they were coming.